We're back on GTR2 at Winton for race 2 from round 7 of the 1995 Australian Super Touring Championship. Race 1 was all Audi, with Greg Murphy leading home Brad Jones in an Oryx Audi 80 1-2, while the two Diet Coke BMWs of Paul Morris and Jeff Brabham trailed home in 3rd and 4th, but it set up Paul Morris to potentially wrap up the championship in race number 2 here today. He only needs to outscore Jeff Brabham as he holds a 48-point championship lead, and he needs to be 48 points in front at the end of today's races, with just 24 on offer for a win in the 2 remaining races at Eastern Creek. Brad Jones, with his 2nd place in race 1, is right up with Brabham in the fight for 2nd place in the title. Greg Murphy slightly behind before a long gap back to the privateers Stephen Richards and Stephen Ellery, who both failed to score in race number 1. We scored a top 10 finish in race number 1 in our Hyundai Elantra, but during qualifying for race 2, as has happened a few times this year, the qualifying for the 2nd race has been rain affected, which allowed the Audis to get onto the front row, but it also hurt us, the Hyundai proving slightly difficult to drive in the wet weather conditions, as we qualified outside the top 10. But here's how the grid lines up for race number 2. Greg Murphy off pole position, the race 1 winner. Brad Jones, his teammate, alongside. A fantastic effort from Tony Scott in qualifying. He's put the Volvo in 3rd spot on the grid, just in front of Jeff Brabham. Championship favourite Paul Morris starts the potentially deciding race from position number 5, ahead of leading privateer Stephen Richards in the Alpha out of position 6. Jeff Full is from 7 in the Peugeot. Alongside him, Jeff Allen, the Englishman, in the Ford Mondeo. Steve Hardman, the highest Hyundai, in 9th. A great effort to get into the top 10 alongside Paul Pickett, while Graham Moore and Mark Adderton are just outside the top 10. 13th, the Privateers Championship leader Steve Ellery. He's alongside us, Russ Dugman, on the 7th row. Row 8 is led by Andrew Reid alongside Justin Matthews in the BMW M3. Jim Richards in the lead Hyundai. He's the 3rd fastest qualifier. He didn't get a good lap in the wet, which is ironic given his nickname the Rainmaster. He's alongside Bob Tweedy on row number 9, while the final row, Peter Hills and Paul Nelson, as we get set for the start. Set to go, race 2. Revs come up, lights are on. Away, Ellery to our right, Adderton and Moore in front of us as we come down to turn 1. Line on the outside of Graham Moore, Mark Adderton and Hardman. Little nudge on Adderton, but can we get through? Can we lean on him? We got a big go through there. Oh, into the pack of Adderton. What a first lap. The sun in our eyes as we go around the back. It's a horrible first lap. Hardman behind us, Graham Moore behind us. Mark Adderton's had a slow run onto the back straight. We go inside. Adderton we can. What a first lap. It's ended poorly though because we've got Graham Moore coming back up the inside. More in the Bellray Opel Vectra through turn 2 up to the sweeper for the first time. Late afternoon sun. To 2nd gear for the tank corner. Rain in qualifying, mixed up the grid for race 2 a bit. A lot of dirt. Came back on. And we're ahead of him. So into lap 2, up to 11th. Behind us, Paul Pickett ahead of us. under the sweeper. Steer through there, which is all over us. There's the apex there. The inside. Oh, clatter doors with more. Around now onto the back straight. Oh, and Moore's punted us. Come on, Hardman. Past us, so a lot of good work's now been undone. It's a bit of a shame. Drop down to 14th. End of the lap. Hardman. Most competitive he's been relative to us this season. Qualifying the top 10 for race 2, which as I said was a little bit damp. A bit of curb there. Not sure what's happened to Jim Richards in the third of the Hyundais. Across the line. Turn 2 to the sweeper. Steer, we're just tail a little bit to Hillary and the Chelgrave BMW. To the end of lap 5. That's one of the Audis. Looked like, I think it was Greg Murphy. Winner of race 1. He won't get the double today. As we range up onto the back of Steve Hardman. Out. What? One of the Peugeots off. Steve Ellery slows up. He's got us back in the fight. Pickett. Oh. Makes the move, although Pickett hangs it out on the outside. We're going to go side by side to the sweeper. And Ellery has to get in. Only just. Pickett holds his ground. We're going to try and get amongst it now. Something happened to the Peugeot coming out of that corner on the previous lap. Hillary wobbled a bit, and that unfortunately caught us out a little bit. We got a great run as he's right up with Pickett now. Sweep out. The short straight towards the sweeper, but Ellery just has enough. The outer tank corner for the 8th time. Get our nose in. Oof. And just gave him a little bit of a push rather than a tap. Hardman is now caught up to the back of us. On the front straight, Ellery on his way to the Privateers Cup at the moment. Real life he chased Graham Moore all season for the Privateers Cup, but he's been quite dominant in the end in our series. Stephen Richards has been the one who's been more sort of competitive in terms of outright races, but the reliability for the Alpha hasn't been there. Graham Moore as well has been there or thereabouts all season, but he's had a few did not finishes. As Ellery again ranges up back of Paul Pickett. Going having a go. Through the Motorsport News S's on the front straight. Across the line. He has another go now. Through to the sweeper. Quite good through the sweep, we can't really make much time on them. There you go. Keep attacking the throttle with the Hyundai to keep the momentum up, because we just don't have the torque and the straight line speed. Ellery all over the back of Pickett to the chicane. Just the pendulum the wrong way around there. That's the stricken Oryx Audi. It's not good. Understeer. Car stopped, and that's a double DNF for Jeff Allen today on his last appearance in the series. Heading back to England, Jeff Allen. It's a shame to bow out after taking a win at Simmons Plains. I don't believe Jeff Allen ever raced in Australia again after that. Been somewhat of a regular for many years. Number of Bathurst 1000 starts as recently as 1994 in Alan Moffat's Synovus Falcon. Lost his British Touring Car Championship drive at the end of 1994 to James Thompson in the Vauxhall team. Allowed him to take up a drive in Australia when it became available after the tragic death of Greg Hansard at the start of the 95 Australian Super Touring Championship in Phillip Island. another look at Pickett. Can't get past the older two-door BMW. We're throwing this thing around, trying to keep pace. The lap read is about to start. We're up to Paul Nelson, the M3, and Ellery's slow, so we'll try and go around the outside. What are we going to do? Can we get Pickett as well? Oh, into the back of him, but we're in front of Ellery. Oh, what a run off the corner, but Ellery. Oh, what's going on? Nelson very slow. We'll get around though. Can we get a run on Pickett onto the front straight? Across the line, 13 laps down. Up the inside, and we're there. Through into 8th. Lapped traffic ahead of us. Peter Hills in the Ford Sierra. Oh. Walks us completely. Up the inside. Justin Matthews next. Oh. Back straight. The sun's starting to set here in rural Victoria. Get past Bob Tweedy as well. So a bit of breathing space there. Understeer as well. Around onto the run to the sweeper. As we're approaching the halfway mark of the completion of round 7. The 95 series, only one round to go. At Eastern Creek. Off quite a mixed up season. It started off, obviously Stephen Richards dominated the first 2 rounds, and we were actually quite competitive at our opening rounds of the series on the Gold Coast. Of course, we crashed out of race 2 after running with Charlie O'Brien and Paul Morris really for much of that race. But then of the Hyundai started to show in, particularly round 3 at Simmons Plains. Round 2 was in the wet at Oran Park, which we had a DNF and it was an 8th or a 9th. Steve Ellery starting to catch up to us again. Simmons Plains really ran around on our own for a lot of that meeting. Same with Calder. We fell into sort of our spot in the middle of the series, middle of the pack rather. That's where we stayed for the most of the season, although we're a bit further back today. Battling with the likes of Mark Adderton and Steve Ellery. A great dice with Steve Ellery, of course, at Mallala. All over us again here, quite competitive at Lakeside. Of course, podium in race 1, but couldn't back that up in race 2 off the back of the grid after some issues in qualifying. Oh, speaking of issues, can we get up the inside? Oh, Ellery. Just couldn't hold on. apex a bit. Stay with him. Try so hard to try and get back to him. It's a lapped car that we're coming up to, which is probably our only hope. If he gets caught behind, down the back straight. Best run through the Motorsport News S's all weekend there. System goes down. We started race 2 at 4 PM. Here is Ellery's gotten around Andrew Reid. So he caught him at a good part of the track. We're not likely to. We're going to get caught. Around the tree we go. On the inside of car number 26. Cedric Winton and Price earlier in the season. Chicane. Right into the grass a bit. Awkward first corner. It's an awkward track really, this version of it. It's not overly realistic. The corners are... It's okay, it does the job. But it's not the closest rendition of racing circuits out there. So come around, we're going to complete lap 20. Laps are ticking past quite quick. Right out on the grass under the Winton sign. Because that sign they have to tip up sideways when the truck's raced here as well. Take out the sign marker. That's the flagging on the approach to the sweeper. So this will be more points. Another race of attrition. On the back straight. Across the curbs there. Dropped well away from Ellery. He's got the headlights on. Past Murphy's stricken Audi. As I said, not the closest rendition of Winton, but it'll do. I mean, it's not like Emerald Park, which will feature on the 96 Australian Super Touring Championship. That's a version that unfortunately no one made a newer one. It's based on the Grand Prix Legends version. That version's gone through 8th because someone's dropped out. Just the 2 retirements from... This is the 14th race of the championship at the moment. Both retirements were of our own doing. Hillary's gotten through them. Round onto the back straight. One assumes that Steve Hardman's still behind us. Back. As one of the cars ahead comes to the pits. Lots of understeer. The tyres have seen better days. Nelson ahead of us. One of the BMW M3s. Bob Tweedy back in the Ford Sierra for this round. He's missed a couple. He's a regular early in the season. Nelson, let us go across the line, inside of Tweedy. So we thought about coming back there, but no chance. Steer. Lap. Brad Jones, of course, picked up his first win of the season. Sorry, his third win of the season in race 1. He won one of the wet races at Oran Park, and then he won race 2 at Calder under lights. Before Morris went on his tear, winning 2 races at Malala as a grass again. Just won both races at Malala and then won both races at Lakeside. I had a bit of luck, of course, winning. Oh, wow, I think our front tyres are really gone. Had a bit of luck. Morris did winning race 1 at Lakeside after coming together between Richards and Jones, and we're just nothing at the moment. The tyres are gone. Lots of understeer. So back straight. It's headlight time. So we bring the car home. 4 to go. Sets up the final round of the championship. Morris, I don't think would have enough to have the championship in the bag, but he can probably wrap it up in race 1. At Eastern Creek, as we make a horrible mistake. Popped back out right amongst the leaders. Brad Jones. Gets around us. two Diet Coke BMWs coming up on us. Let go on the front straight. Pull to the... oh. Both go. Actually, we've now moved up to 7th. There's another. Someone else has dropped out, so an odd race. We've gotten up to 7th through skill, but just through atrocious attrition by a number of the grid. This rate Bob Tweedy, who we've lapsed, possibly going to get a point. Back straight. So there'll be one lap to go for us because the leaders are coming around to start their last lap now. We're completing lap 28. Third win for the year. He'll collect a double for the Oryx Audi team today after Greg Murphy's win in race 1. Shame that Jim Richards' pace during sort of practice and qualifying for race 1 be realised, and we haven't seen him at all in race 2, so maybe he's dropped out. Checkered flag's out though. Brad Jones wins from the two Diet Coke BMWs, and that sets up the final round at Eastern Creek. Oh, we come around with no front grip and cross the line. So an odd race. We just really had no pace here at Winton. We just weren't competitive. 2 more races to go. So let's see how everyone finished up. A hard grinding day at Winton today. 2 top 10s we've come away with from the 2 races, but at the front of the field you'll see that Brad Jones has managed to win race 2, but most importantly in second place is Paul Morris, ahead of the third place Jeff Brabham, and that makes Paul Morris the 1995 Australian Super Touring Champion. A season that in the end result has imitated real life, but in our series Morris started the season slowly, but then went on a real tear in the middle of the season, winning 5 from 6 races to set him up a championship win. Jeff Full, first privateer home again today. That's 2 in a row in just his second meeting for the year in the Peugeot. He's followed home by Graham Moore and Steve Ellery, rounding out the top 6. We finished 7th, 1 lap down. Teammate Steve Hardman was behind us. Paul Pickett 9th, while Bob Tweedy was the final points scorer in 10th place in the Sierra, ahead of Paul Nelson in the BMW M3. He was the only finisher outside the top 10. So that leaves the points, as we said. Paul Morris, a big lead now over Brad Jones in second, 8 points clear of Jeff Brabham in third. 4th place, Greg Murphy. He can still mathematically get second, but he's a long way back after that DNF from the lead in race number 2. Stephen Richards is still 5th. Steve Ellery right behind him in 6th. 7th, Jeff Allam in the Ford Mondeo. 8th, Graham Moore in the Opel Vectra. We're running 9th on 49 points ahead of Tony Scott. Back to 11th, Charlie O'Brien, who's been absent since round 2. Mark Adderton sitting in 12th place in the Peugeot. The Privateers Cup is also decided. Stephen Ellery, 52 points clear of Stephen Richards. That means he is the Privateers champion for this year. Richards second, he's 18 points ahead of Graham Moore in the Vectra. A long way back then to Paul Pickett in 4th, Paul Nelson 5th, while Mark Adderton in the Peugeot is sitting in 6th. While the Manufacturers' Championship is basically decided, BMW a long way clear of Audi, who are a long way clear of Hyundai, with Volvo 4th on an even 100 points. So that's the penultimate round of the season underway, 14 races down, just 2 to go at Eastern Creek to finish off the season 1995. Thank you for joining us in Ned Kelly country here at Winton, and look forward to you joining us for the final round of the series coming up soon. Bye for now.